Alright, so I'm going to quickly show you how to make a Canvas module and or quiz. Because if you're like me, even though it makes sense during the professional development, shortly thereafter you've forgotten all the steps. So, first of all, you need to go to Canvas. So, of course, one way you can get there is by going to county website, go to Canvas, log in. Now the first thing you're going to do if you haven't done this yet is you click on whichever class you're working with and make sure that it is published. So this, once you click on publish, it'll be green and it'll be check marked. Until then it will be red with an X. Because until you publish it, your students won't actually have access to the class. So of course they won't be able to access anything within the class. So I'm going to do one here. So once you get into the class, I'm going to go to modules, because that's what we're making here. So I'm going to click on plus, and I'm going to call this, let's do lines. Okay. So I add the module. So there's my module. It puts it at the very bottom, and by the way, you can see all the other modules I've already done. And then within the module, I'm going to have some assignments or quizzes. I like to do quizzes because then you can have questions at the end, which kind of gives you some accountability. Make sure the students have actually learned what the material was. So within the module, I click the plus, and I'm going to, like I said, make this a quiz. It's a new quiz, and I'm going to title it lines. So now here's my quiz. I need to go out in and actually edit it because right now it's just blank. So I click on it, it takes me here, and I go to edit. The first part is the details. So this is where you kind of let the student know what it's about and what they need to do. So I'm just going to say view the following materials and complete the workbook pages. So I'm going to add a video, lines, number rock. Yeah. So let's say I want to have the instruction come from this video. So I click on. And by the way, if you know the specific one already, you can copy and paste the link into that box as well, or you can search right there. So then I'm going to make a note now. Complete the workbook pages below. So let's say I wanted them to do page 211 in their workbook. And I'm going to put an answer key, a link to the answer key here, so that after they complete the workbook page, they can actually check it right within the module and make sure that they've done it correctly before they move on. The way that you do that is you pull up, so you go into your Bridges resources and you open up the student book answer keys. So then it'll bring you here. So let's say this was the page that I wanted, that was associated with whatever workbook page I assigned. So what you want to do is screen capture the image. So the way to do that on a Mac is you hold Command, then hit Shift, and then hit 4. And notice how it brings up these little crosshairs. So then I can highlight what I want, and then release. And notice how you heard that picture. So what it just did is it put the image right here on my desktop. So I'll be able to access it there later. So now I go back to the quiz I was working on and I highlight where I want the workbook page to be linked to. So I want it to appear there, so I highlight it. Then I come over here to Files, click on Files, and upload a new file. Then I'm going to choose that file, and there it is. So it's the most recent one that I did, which is this one. So I click on it, hit Choose, and now I click upload. And it is going to upload that file into what I had highlighted. So notice how now the font is red. That means now it's a link. So when the students are in the module and they finish the workbook page and they want to check their answers, they click on that and it will show them the answer key and they can check their answers. And I always tell them that anything that they miss, they need to correct with a red pen, just to make sure that they're doing it accurately and learning from their mistakes. So then you want to scroll down and adjust some of these. What I usually do is I don't let the students see the correct answers. I just let them see what they missed, and I make it so they have multiple attempts. And I tell them that, at least in math, I tell them that they can miss one question before they move on. So if they miss any more than one question, they have to retake it. That's why I do allow multiple attempts. And I do let them see their incorrect answers. That way they know which ones they missed, which ones they need to go back and work on and figure out. And I also tell them that the quizzes are like basically open notes. They can go back, and even during the quiz, they can go back and watch the video, look back at their notes and their workbook pages and figure it out. It's really a learning process. So once I change those two things, then I don't really adjust anything else. You can set some other parameters, but I usually don't mess with that in case the student's absent or whatever. So then when I'm all done with that, I want to make sure I save that. So that's just the details. So I want to go back because now I need to actually add the questions. So then I click on questions. I'm going to add a new question. So let's do a matching. So here, this is a good one that I like to use. So let's say one is parallel, perpendicular, and intersecting. So then on the right side, you would put the definitions or the terms that match with the one on the left. So parallel lines would be lines that never cross, perpendicular lines that cross and form 90-degree angles, and then intersecting lines that cross. Okay, and then this last one I didn't use, so I just trash it. Before you move on to anything else or click on anything else, when you're done with the question, make sure you click on Update Question, because if you move away from the page without doing that, you lose everything that you just worked on. So make sure you always hit Update Question. So now I'm going to do a new question just to show you some other options. So let's say for the other one I do fill in the blank. These are usually the main ones I use. Multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, matching. But you can use, there's a lot of different options. So fill in the blank would be something like what do you call lines that never touch? And I know that's a question I just am repeating, but I just want to show you how it works. So the only answer is parallel. You might want to add a second answer with a capital P in case, for whatever reason, the students put it with a capital P. That way, whether they do capital or lowercase, it still counts it correct. But do let the students know that they need to spell it correctly, otherwise they'll get it wrong. So they might need to refer back to the video or notes to make sure that they get the correct spelling. Again, I click Update Question, and there's my two questions. Then I click Save and Publish, because now that I'm done with my materials and I'm done with my questions, I'm ready to actually push it out to students. So I click Save and Publish. Now if you want to preview it and see what it looks like to students, you can click on the preview box, and it'll show you what it'll look like for them. So within the module, they can watch the video. Okay, so you don't have to worry about advertisements or anything like that.
Angles perimeter, or let's break it down.
So they can use that to work through these problems. And again, here, like I said, when they click on this link, it will pop up right there, the answer key. So they answer these questions, parallel, lines that never cross, perpendicular, 90-degree angles, intersecting, lines that cross. Question 2, never touch, parallel. Oh, I might have wanted to add a correct answer that said parallel lines in case they say parallel lines. Then I click Submit Quiz, and they can scroll down and see that they got 2 out of 2. So they got everything right. It shows them their score, so I got 100%. That means now I can move on. So this is a good way to allow students that again, if they missed a day, or if you want to, if you have this as a rotation, so students can work independently and still get some help from the videos that you post as instructional materials, it can be really beneficial. So now, if I go back just to see what it looks like in the modules, so the students will go into their modules tab and they'll see it at the bottom. They can click on this and it will take them to the materials they'll go through, and then they'll take the quiz and submit it. And then also, if you click on, as the teacher, you can click on grades and you can quickly go through and see how your students are doing on different topics. So like if you see a lot of low scores, then that would indicate you need to obviously go back and work on that however you want to set it up. And that is how you set up a module and or quiz with Canvas. Let me know if you have any questions.